Hey, my name is Joey Landreth, and I am here walking you through my rig, my Two-Rock Bloomfield Drive, and talking about some tones and talking about how I'm using this amp live and in the studio and stuff like that, and also doing a little bit of playing. What you just heard is the clean channel. The magic in this thing is in the way that it feels, and it's kind of one of those things you got to plug into to really feel it. I set the EQ literally completely flat, and the only time I ever touch the EQ is if I'm in a room that's particularly like splattery sounding. I'll adjust the top end of the amp just to sort of reflect the way the room sounds, but in an ideal setting, this amp to me sounds perfect, just 12 o'clock straight across everything. It does have a ton of options on it that you can use to manipulate the sound of the amp, but again, I just sort of set it the way it came out of the box. So yeah. So yeah, anyways, that's a clean channel. It sounds really, really great, feels really, really great. I'm going to walk you through some of the overdrive sounds. So that's the dirty channel, and kind of the deal with this amp has got cascading gain stages. So the sort of input gain of the clean channel sort of flows over into the input gain of the dirty channel, into the master of the dirty channel, into the master of the whole amp. So it's a pretty complex little beast, but it's got sort of so much under the hood. I honestly spend more time on the dirty channel than on the clean channel, not for any other reason other than I just never really play super, super clean. I will clean things up with the volume pot of the guitar, but the times that I do use the clean channels in the studio when I need something like super pristine, stratty kind of tone, stuff like that, which this amp does in spades. But again, it's got that feel, it's got a little bit of sag to it, which is really, really great. And a question I get a lot is, what's the difference between the Bloomfield and the TS1? And it's, they are ultimately pretty similar beasts. This obviously has a reverb where the TS1 does not, but the biggest difference is just in the way that the amp feels. So this is a little more open, and it's got a little bit of give, but not too much. Like, it's not squishy, and you can't you know, you can't dig into it, but it's got a little bit more give where the TS1 is like tighter and more focused. But ultimately, you should just have both. So fall off your wallet and get both, because that's just what you need in your life, and I recommend it. That's sort of that's the main way that I use this amp. The other thing that I do with it is it's got a boost, which bypasses the tone stack. So I'll let you hear that, and it's great for a solo boost, or, you know, I don't know why that's the only reason why you'd boost something, is if you want it louder for a solo, probably. So that's what you do with it. So here it is. Without. That's without it. I lost track of which key I was playing in. Doesn't matter. So that's the boost on the dirty channel. This is the boost on the clean channel. So this I'll play without first, and then with. So I've definitely been known to play old Fenders. I've got a small collection of cool old Fender amps that I really like, and the thing that kind of pulls me away from them and pulls me towards an amp like this is obviously the versatility that this has. Like I love old brown face amps, and they're really, really great for kind of one thing. They do one thing really, really well, but they don't tend to do a whole lot else. Whereas I feel like I can get the sounds that I love out of those amps from this, as well as a myriad of other sounds, you know. And I mentioned earlier that I don't really mess with the tone stack a whole lot, but, you know, if I want this to sound like a big high-powered Fender, I just dump the mids out a little bit. But ultimately, this amp feels to me like an old Fender in all the great ways, and it kind of takes off from there with its own voice and sort of character. Everything that I kind of need an amp to do, this thing does it. Whereas, you know, if I got called to play on a record, I would bring, you know, a handful of amplifiers. You know, I got an old deluxe blackface non-reverb deluxe, which is really, really fantastic, and a brown super and a brown concert and a silverface super. Where now I don't bring those amps. I bring this and maybe an alternate cabinet just in case somebody wants to hear something different out of it. But it's pretty powerful. Yeah. So in terms of things that I put in front of this amp, I don't like, the only thing that I use other than the overdrive channel and the boost is a fuzz pedal, and I've got, right now I have 3 fuzz pedals of basically that are exactly the same and do the exact same thing, but yeah, I have 3 of them. Yeah, so I don't put anything else in front of the amp other than a fuzz pedal, I mean, I've got a couple delays and a compressor that I use very, very, very rarely, just for a very specific kind of you know, one of my heroes is Lowell George, so I've got a compressor absolutely dimed so that I can do my best bad impression of him, and then a couple of different modulating pedals. But in terms of drive, like main tones, it's just a fuzz face style fuzz. I've got 3 different sort of varieties of that on my board for different flavors that go straight into the front of the amp. So I'll give you a couple options of those tones.